Network Entertainment.
People are in love with the idea of being in love
Oh my God,
instead
yes.
of really being open to give themselves to that person.
Yeah, a lot of people. That's the thing, also, right? With expectations, like how whatever it is that you're expecting from someone that they'll do in the future, is you not really falling in love with the idea of them right now. You're falling in love with the potential
Yeah.
of who they could be in your mind.
Yeah, in your mind. That yun yung scary.
In your mind. Okay, so you're having a hard time finding a romantic partner. Are your standards too high? In this episode, I'm joined by entrepreneur, author, and motivational speaker JPaul Hernandez to help me figure out and educate you, listener, on why we shouldn't settle when we're looking for a romantic partner or a romantic relationship. I wanna ask you, why then? Let's just get to the thick of it. Why shouldn't you settle when looking for a romantic partner?
You know, looking for a romantic partner is like looking for the perfect shoe. Like there's a shoe that you wear it feels comfortable, but it's ugly. There's a shoe that's super nice but uncomfortable. But so you have to look for that perfect comfort, design, utility, and for the purpose of it. So you have to try until you find the right shoe for you. I've worn shoes or bought shoes that are not the most expensive and not the cheapest, but that just perfect price. I like the brand. I like the feel. I like how it looks, and you just wish you can buy more of it. So that's it. So like if you are not gonna settle for a shoe because you're gonna wear it almost every day. So why should you settle for a relationship that you will be invested in for a long period of your life, hopefully forever?
Yeah, that's true. And I love that you mentioned like this metaphor of buying shoes, because one thing that I love to share with everybody, which is something that my mom taught me while we were out shopping, that I now apply in my everyday life, particularly when it comes to dating. Because the story goes, I'm trying to choose between two items of clothing. And I told my mom, I don't know what to buy. Which one should I get? And she couldn't decide for me. So she said, you know what, Nikki? Just don't make half-hearted decisions. Yeah, so it was just like, never, like, don't make half-hearted decisions. Like, as much as we're just talking about shopping, I was like, I thought about it more and I reflected on it. And I was like, you know what? This is a life lesson right here.
Yep. While in the like garment section.
While in the garment section, while deciding which piece of clothing I was gonna get, like that was an what do you call this? Unexpected life lesson for my mother. So, and that's how I perceive, romantic relationships, is that don't make half-hearted decisions when it comes to looking for a romantic partner. Because that if you're doing it half-heartedly lang, then basically you're settling, because it's like, this is the best it's gonna get. This is the best that I'll ever get out of life, out of love. But the thing is, for those who are in the dating pool now, and I want to know your take on this, it can be quite murky. There's, even if you have this like huge market of people who are in the dating apps, who are on social media, who might send you a DM or not. Do you think, JPaul, people are still having a hard time finding a romantic partner? The singles, of course, who are finding a romantic partner. Is it harder? And if so, why?
I have a friend. She's in her early 40s. Sadly, she lost her husband a few years ago, got sick. So, a widow at a young age, And recently, she got married again.
Wow.
And like our other friends were saying like, I can't even find one boyfriend. And you're getting married again. So,
where did she find? Where did she find this husband? We have questions.
It's a beautiful relationship because the husband was also a widower now. So they were
Okay.
in a grief process, a
Yeah.
grief ministry, a grief counseling thing.
Mhm.
They met there, they moved on, and as they were moving on, they saw each other, fell in love, and they're a beautifully blended family right now.
Mm.
So that's a unicorn story.
Yeah. No, I would say so because it's like meeting someone organically is the dream, diba? It's like
Yeah,
parang
yeah,
someone
yeah.
will sweep you off your feet. You're having coffee or you're ordering coffee. You guys are grabbing the same cup. Nung pala, it's his cup. And then
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like, yeah.
But then like the comments of a lot of friends and friends like,
Mm.
I can't even find one that's good
Right.
enough, and you're getting another one. So like a lot of friends of ours started questioning themselves, like, what's wrong with me? I mean, I can't find a good guy, or even some guys, I can't find a good girl, or I can't just find love for me. So
Yeah.
it's hard right now, especially because I guess, there are people, I have friends, like I was saying, okay, a friend of mine asked, JPaul, okay, help me find a boyfriend. Okay, are you open to dating? She said, no. Are you open to go out? No. Are like, what? Do you want me to mail a boyfriend to your house? Like, there's no instant boyfriend. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many options. Like, even Netflix is the kalaban of dating time, because
Right.
I'd rather Netflix than like fix my hair,
Get ready,
dressed,
yeah.
and do the whole dance of getting to know each other.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it can be so stressful too, and it can be so repetitive and so routine na rin. And I totally understand that. Just doing the whole, I feel like when you like for people who are in the dating pool and are meeting people as often as they can, new people, it's like you wanna you wanna go into the date with like your resume. Just, you know what? Okay, we're not gonna do this dance like this because you keep doing it so
Yeah.
often.
It's like a job application.
Exactly. And so, and it's hard, of course, because we all come from different like experiences also. And it's such a joke also on social media, no, like on Instagram or on TikTok. They would share like, yes, I do want a partner, I do want to have a relationship. But but then it's like it's too much of an effort to want to go out.
Yeah.
Especially in this economy. It's so
Yep.
diba?
Yep.
It can be so hard, and especially if you're financially strapped but you want to be in a relationship, whether you're male or female, honestly. It can be such a struggle to maintain that active dating lifestyle just so you can find a partner.
Yep.
But it's not impossible to do. Okay? Like, I feel like that should be our disclaimer na yun. Yes, mahirap. Pero it's not impossible. And there are gonna be days when you're gonna just wanna throw in the towel na parang ayoko na talaga. But us as humans, we really are hardwired to be in connection with someone, to be with someone, to be in relationship with someone. So it's completely natural for you to want to be in a relationship. So one of the things that people will usually throw when it comes to dating are these standards
Yeah.
of dating, or standards at least of being in a relationship. So, JPaul, from your understanding, what would you say are standards in a relationship?
One standard is like a guy should work.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
men have been working since the dawn. It's not a discussion on who works better. It's more of like we've been working for so long and we're really designed to work. Biologically, men are designed to work. So one standard is like, dude, you gotta provide. Like, you don't. The pressure is not the like 299 peso engagement. It's not about should you wine and dine every night or every time you date, but it's like working hard or good enough to like, I can treat this girl to minimum of McDo or like a nice restaurant or casual restaurant. And it's just like that guy providing for the girl. Because, a girl looks for safety, security. Sometimes girls adjust for the guy. Even if you don't say. I was talking to a girl recently, and what happens she broke up with a guy is
Mhm.
that the guy has been working for 6 years
What?
and she was a sugar mama.
Oh my god.
And she was like, I was telling her, you're a beautiful girl, and you're not ugly. You're smart, and why are you stupid with love? And what happens when they go?
How blunt. Wow.
I mean, because I've known her for a while.
Okay, makes sense.
So
Alright,
and like
okay,
I
friends
have,
naman, friends
and I
naman.
have
Oo.
this because I'm in this in motivational stuff. I
Mhm.
work with people, so I write and stuff. So I can sometimes go straight, but then because sometimes if you're not straight, medyo minsan matigas ulo eh. But anyway, so what
true,
happens
true.
is that the guy, and it happens a lot na now, a guy would like when they would get the money before the group date or whatever,
Mhm.
so that the other people would think the guy paid, but in reality the money came from the girl.
girlfriend?
Yeah.
What?
And,
oh my
and
gosh.
the basic standard that I really fight for,
Mhm.
dude, you work to provide. You work hard to care and provide for the girl that you're courting, dating, so that hopefully you can provide for that girl in the future. At least your family, you do your best to provide and not like, hey, you're my sugar mama.
It's not just one partner that is that is kind of financially supporting the partnership. It's also it has to go both ways when it comes to relationships. And of course, like as a woman, if I were to date someone who's not working, that would be a red flag.
Yep.
For sure. It's like, okay, how are you funding your lifestyle, I guess?
Who's funding this date?
Yeah. No, I mean, okay, yeah. It's something that, of course, that would be a little bit alarming, of course. And you would want to be a little bit more curious as well. It's like, why is that?
Yeah.
But again, I feel like that's something that is safe to want as a standard
Yeah.
in a partner. Another standard, I think, for me, it's especially when you guys, have a good connection already. I think it would be just like not necessarily texting every day, but having that effort to check in.
Yeah.
Diba? That I feel like that's not too much to ask. If someone is not texting you or communicating with you, calling you while you guys are dating, that's literally just breadcrumbing you.
Okay. So can I clarify? Siguro for
Sure.
my bros.
Yeah, game.
So for a girl, is it like sending the location? Like now you can send like your location via text or messenger, diba?
Yeah.
Is that good enough, or you like that's like least? Or should it be like, hey, I just parked, I'm already here, I'm gonna meet, I'm gonna in the entrance, or just like that general, there's a story within the text, like, hey, I just parked, I'm gonna have my meeting now, see you later, I'll be done maybe at 9 p.m, 10 p.m, and I'll talk to you later.
Okay. I hear. So what I'm hearing is it should the guy
Yeah.
or should your partner at least give you a heads up of like if you guys are gonna meet, or at least not
Or just
communicate?
or like what's happening in their life, like for example, diba, sometimes you said, or you should communicate, like,
Yeah.
because some guys, when we hear the word the word communicate is very different for you and me,
Yeah.
or for guys and girls. Like for a guy, a typical guy would say, okay, I'll just send to you my location here, talk to you later.
Wait, I'm so confused with this location. What do you mean? Like from your guy friends, what do they mean by that?
Because just some girls are like based on stories or experiences, like a girl wants to know where you are, what's happening, and then a
And
guy,
so they,
because we're lazy, we'll just send to you my location, like my Google Map location. That's
Okay.
how lazy guys are. It's not about women. It's like, I guess, the laziness of communication
Yeah.
from guys. So maybe just wanted
Okay.
like from maybe we can heal a lot of relationships
Mm.
by just like untangling this concern.
Right. Okay. That's actually the first time I'm hearing of like, a guy just like dropping a pin of whenever a girl asks like, where are you at? What are you up to? Or something, right? That's actually the first time I've heard of that. But I think for there to be, I feel like there some context could be helpful.
Yeah.
Like you can say it's Gino's birthday or whoever.
Yeah.
It's like having dinner with the guys lang ganyan, or like family dinner.
Yes.
Something like that. I mean, because like how a female brain might perceive that as just dropping a pin. It's like, oh, they don't want to talk.
Yeah.
Which is true because you guys are up to something. Diba?
Yeah.
Not up to something in a bad way. But like you guys have,
A different focus.
you guys have a prior engagement that you
Yeah.
guys have to attend to, which is understandable naman.
Uy!
Then,
Tigil niyo muna yung pakikinig ng show na to, ha? Oo, ito po ang The Cool Pals.
hello.
Hello sa inyo, sa mga nakikinig
Tumingin sa
ng
camera.
podcast na to.
Sa
Hello
camera.
sa inyo.
Hello.
Ito po ang kwentuhang inuman lang, long table inuman, may uupong guest, at makikipagkulitan sa amin. Ganun lang po ang podcast namin. Kaya kung trip nyo makakinig ng mga lasing,
Parang ayaw mo na mamilit kung gusto nilang ano.
hindi, bahala na sila. Tapos pag nakinig sa atin, magre-reklamo.
Huwag ka na lang makinig. Ganun ba?
Papatanggal nyo sa trabaho?
Hindi.
Hindi nagustuhan?
Hindi yan.
Huwag na kayo makinig!
Sige.
Huwag na!
Dito.
Bumalik na kayo sa show na!
Oo, yun na,
Hindi
yun na
kayo
yan.
pupuntahan! Huwag
Tinanggal
kayo pupunta sa show na!
Ano?
Pero kung gusto nyo makinig, punta na kayo sa
Oo,
The
pwede
Cool
naman.
Pals.
Ganda naman eh.
Di ako minom.
So maybe something that men can do is I'm at my best friend's party. I'll probably be out late. I'll text you tomorrow.
Yeah.
At least there's that expectation, not necessarily an expectation, but there is that assurance
Yeah.
na I'm doing something right now. I will not be able to text you back if you want to text me right
Yeah.
now. But I will text you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So at least there's that understanding na, you have some business to attend to.
Yeah. Because it's just different. Like when I talk to a guy, like me as a guy, hey, what did you do last night? Nyari, just ate.
Like one-liners, I'm
Watch
assuming.
something, slept. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a girl, for example, a friend that's a girl, like, you know what, at 6 p.m. this is what happened to me. And at 6:55.
Kwenta talaga.
Like sometimes like, oh.
Yeah.
Parang, I mean, it was just really a small talk conversation. But
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Lang ganon. So,
Which is understandable because again, with us women, it's like we are so open to just sharing anything with our girlfriends. With dudes, it's kind of like there's still kind of that barrier,
yeah.
right? Let me ask you na lang. What is the intention of you being brief with the way that you communicate, at least with your guy friends?
Honestly, I think 'cause communication is work for us.
It's work for you.
It's
Okay.
like treat it as work. Like, oh man, I have to I am a communicator by profession. I get paid on stage to talk, to train or whatever.
Yeah.
But at home, I'm like a typical dude. Like because like my I'll be lying down. Like it's that lazy guy idea, like so that's why I kind of related to work. So speaking, communicating is more of a chore work for us instead of it filling our love tank.
Or I guess, or it's kind of like women need that socialization among other women, I guess, and are hoping to have that as well with their partners, or whoever it is that they're dating.
An example, some of us, my bros, when we run for an hour together. We probably have 100 words in. There are days that we can really talk, but there are days like 100 words, 1 hour.
Okay.
Love you, brother.
Okay, so then I think the solution to this is to not treat the girl that you're seeing and the guy that you're seeing as wait lang. Let me separate that. Don't treat the woman that you're seeing, men, as a dude that you're friends with.
Yeah.
Same thing with women. Don't expect much of a conversation from a guy that you're seeing, but it does not mean that they're not interested in you. It's just the way that they're wired at communicating
Yep.
that in.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's just really that it's really just trying to figure out the nuance of the way men think and the way that women think when it comes to dating. Because it's so true. There are some guys who are very talkative. They're very. I dated a guy who would just like text paragraphs when I would ask a question, which is like a shocker for me because it's just like, this is new, but okay, he's engaged, and so like, and we would text the whole day. But then at the same time, it's like, that's not necessarily a reflection of the real world that everyone else deals with.
Yeah.
So, communication, of course, like, okay, that's one thing, like checking in. And then there's also, providing in a relationship. Another, these are standards that are okay to have. And it's not too much to want in a relationship also.
Like bare minimum.
It is bare minimum. And there's a ton more bare minimum examples. The bare minimum shouldn't really be celebrated, I don't think. Because it's like, if you celebrate that bare minimum, it's like, but that's expected. It's like, you're in a relationship. That's like the norm of a relationship.
Like, don't celebrate, oh, my boyfriend took a bath. Dude, like, it's normal.
Right. You should be well dressed when you guys see each other, smell good.
Yeah.
Diba? Well, another one is, I guess, you don't name call, you don't make fun of each other if it's meant in a harmful way.
Yeah.
Some people, some comments can be perceived as offensive. People will have different kinds of like, the way that you joke, I guess. It's like, it might not meet the other person's like humor.
Yeah. So my wife and I, we've been friends before, we got romantic. So it's just one story. One time I said, did something stupid. And she said, you're so stupid. So I was laughing and I said, you're more stupid. And she said, why? Because you married me. So who's more stupid now?
It's so nice to have a relationship like that. Na parang eventually to get to that point where you're not just romantic partners, but you guys are you've become each other's best friends.
Yeah.
Diba? So I think that's also a lovely connection to have once you finally get into a relationship. And but I also want to distinguish standards and expectations. And so for standards, I think what I've read, actually, standards are this it's a norm of what to want out of a relationship. Norms of a relationship, basically. And there are standards that are the bare minimum, because literally that's that should be observed in a relationship. Expectations are actually they're built according to Jillian Ortillian. She wrote this on her blog. Expectations are built on our own biased premonitions, which makes them poor predictors of reality. And which is, I know it's a lot of words, but the point is, it's like you can have some expectations for a relationship, but if you don't communicate that, and if they are unrealistic, then you are just setting yourself up for resentment.
Yeah.
Diba? So did you probably, I just want to know, like, were there any expectations that you had, or maybe from your friends' experiences, I guess, when they had expected a lot from a partner, but then either they didn't communicate it, or it was actually too high of an expectation to be met by a partner?
What came to my mind is that an expectation can be good or bad.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
One thing that really was foundational or pivotal in my relationship, in my marriage, was I came from a hostile relationship. And so I had some baggages. And of course, childhood issues with relationship issues, just like a toxic cocktail. So when my wife and I became boyfriend girlfriend, I was like this praning, anxious guy, and I was like, I was like panicking, like with everything she asked, like, oh, where are you? Like she would ask me, where are you in her text? And my mind would go like, where are you? Are you having the, parang I was expecting that she would get jealous and
Like accusing you.
yeah, but then she wasn't. And then we had a fight and then she told me, because she knew me already, and said, you know what? Your baggage with your ex should stay with your ex.
Right.
Don't expect me. There's a new relationship.
Yeah.
So don't expect me to be your ex or to be like her because this is something new.
Yeah.
So parang doon ko na-realize, oh my goodness, I was bringing my issues and to a new relationship and expecting the same issues to repeat itself again. It's like, whoa.
Definition of insanity.
Yep. I was kind of stupid guy. And good thing she was patient with me.
Yeah. I should have invited your wife.
Yep.
Feel ko she has more insight.
Yeah, she therapized me for free, and it really freed me because a lot of people are like that. They're bringing expectations from previous relationships, previous things, and
That's true.
they're and in my experience now working with people, sometimes people are in love with the idea of being in love
Oh my God.
instead
yes.
of really being open to give themselves to that person.
Yeah. A lot of people, that's the thing also, right? With expectations, like whatever it is that you're expecting from someone that they'll do in the future, is you not really falling in love with the idea of them right now. You're falling in love with the potential of who they could be in your mind.
Yeah, in your mind. That yun yung scary.
In your mind. Which is something that a lot of us do. We want the gift of foresight when it comes to what are we gonna do, like when we're finally together. Like we're gonna travel. We're going to do this and that. He's going to buy me flowers here and there, like just because, ganon. But again, it's like that's just the potential. That's what you see in your head. How this person is in person might be a completely different individual, like whoever it is you're dating right now.
Yeah.
So, and it's unfair also to your partner to have that unrealistic expectation unless you actually say some things that you actually want out of the relationship. Those bids for trying to connect in a way that fulfills a little bit of your need for reassurance or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
It could be helpful so that you and your partner can understand each other better when it comes to a relationship.
Yeah.
Because we have different styles of being in a relationship.
Different needs,
Different
different
needs as well.
backgrounds,
Exactly.
different stories, different childhood. So the variations can make any relationship complicated.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned this actually in the first episode, is that one thing that you have to remember is that when you are in a relationship with someone, there are actually 3 relationships that are all working together, supposedly in harmony. And that's the relationship that you have with yourself, your partner's relationship with their self, and the relationship that you have with each other.
Yep.
Because you come from different backgrounds, you come from different upbringings. So it's like, it's all going to mirror back to you, and you're going to see, hopefully you guys can see it through and how to work those conflicting areas together eventually. So that's why relationships are hard and it's work. And if anybody tells you otherwise, then they are living in another world, I think, honestly. It doesn't happen. Like, I feel like that would be a rarity in the relationship world. But for many of us, considering the history and past experiences that we have to work through and didn't know impacted relationships, we're kind of undoing all of that by listening to podcasts like this so that we can
Nuggets
try.
with Nikki.
Yeah, so we could try and, be better and show up better in relationships. So, there are standards and there are expectations, and then there are also non-negotiables.
Ooh.
Non-negotiables is actually they're good to have, and you must absolutely have those if you guys are dating with intention. And I say with intention because some people are just dating because it's like, because I don't want to be alone. Diba? There's not, it's kind of like surface level of why they want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because it just makes sense. I should be in one. If you don't have that intent of like, because I want to be in a long-term relationship, because I want to have a partner in life, because I want to have a family, then you can also have the intention of like, I would like to meet new people. That's still setting a boundary for the intent that you have in dating.
Yeah,
As long
yeah.
as you actually address it also with
Yeah.
whoever it is that you're dating. So you're you'll know if you're on the same page or not. So for you, did you have non-negotiables when you, I guess, started dating your wife back then? Or did you realize that there were non-negotiables while you were in a relationship with her?
Yeah, I guess one of the biggest non-negotiables were I knew I didn't want to have a traditional Filipino life. I didn't want to be in corporate, and I was not gonna make mana a business. I wanted to start my own thing, and the thing I wanted to start was a speaking gig. So parang hindi siya traditional business. So parang, oh man, and I need to find a wife that will be okay with this because there's no roadmap. So I need to figure out my finances still. Yung something, and then
Right.
like I have a mission in life, serving, taking care of others. So I have this mission. So basically, I need to find someone that will be G with this game.
Yeah.
So I wrote down, these were my non-negotiables. And pala mo ako. So I listed down names
Names?
of girls. Because I just didn't like
Wow.
people I knew na parang pwede, tas logical. I mean, medyo the feelings came after. I mean, it's not that paano ba? I just needed to put some system in my head that I wasn't going crazy because nga I had failed relationships. I had toxic relationships. So I didn't want to repeat the same mistake. So parang maybe not just the heart. Maybe put some mind into it. No? Parang, my wife naman, I liked her. I had a crush on her. May flirting. Pero sobrang na akong, medyo I was doubting my feelings. Kasi nga, nung puro feelings lang pina-follow ko, kakaleche-leche.
Right,
Nagkaka-problema. So
Yeah.
parang, okay, who are the potential girls? Think about it, pray about it, discern about it. And then really, a friend of mine, when we're talking about, he's actually a life coach, and we were talking, and he was not coaching me. We were just having a very in-depth
lang.
question on regrets. And he asked me, so JPaul, ano yung ayaw mo maging what if? What is something in your life that you don't want to regret? And then, the people we were having coffee with talked about their job or starting a business, and I was like, whoa, Viv, I don't want her to be my regret.
Oh.
So that's what I knew. That's when I knew I'm gonna like move heaven and earth, and I'm gonna really court her because I don't want to lose her. So ganun, like it's the non-negotiable. There's the pattern of thinking and finding the right perfect point of love and sanity and
Right.
logic. I mean, at least as for a guy, of course, a girl there's more romance, but most of the time that's mostly a guy's perspective. That's my story, and so a non-negotiable is good because if I got a girl that was super like safe, like wanted the traditional career, she would go crazy with me trying out different things. There were when I was starting, there were not a lot of companies hiring me, and there were days that I could buy something nice, that there were days I couldn't because I didn't have like a paycheck or a company hasn't paid me yet. So if I found a girl that wasn't in my non-negotiable because wala lang, type ko lang siya, pero ayaw niya ng traditional guy, ayaw niya ng lifestyle ko, magkakaproblema kami. So parang that's kind of a practical approach of seeing that non-negotiable thing.
Yeah, and it's something that worked for you, no? Because it's just like, this is the life that I want to live. And so it's not something that I can really compromise on because that's the way how my career looks like. There's no map, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And you need someone kind of like secure in themselves to be like, all right, I trust you
Yeah,
in
yeah.
whatever you want to do. And as long as you show up in this relationship, I think.
Yeah.
So, for non-negotiables, I've actually come to learn that I didn't know that I would always like idealize the non-negotiables. No, it's something that progressed over time into something more mature and had more depth. I think I wrote mine. I think last year, early last year maybe, because it was homework for me while I was training. Well, while I'm still training, but when I started out training for coaching, so it's something that I really sat down and thought about after learning some of the things from coaching, how relationships are, psychology also. But it makes you realize that there are some things that you really don't want to, you don't really, for lack of a better term, negotiate when you're in a relationship. So I think for me, one of the important ones was having this growth mindset. And growth mindset meaning that, for one thing, we're not going to be the same people that we fell in love with in the beginning. As we grow old together, there are going to be different versions of ourselves that we're going to meet.
Yeah.
And so to have that, growth mindset with each other, it's comforting. Diba? Na parang, and I feel like if you dive into it with the curiosity na rin, which is another non-negotiable, it's like being curious about each other's lives, being communicative, or just not inquisitive, but also just like wanting to know more about you, what makes you tick or something, even if it's just like a random question that you just thought of one day. Just those things, kind of just like continuing to get to know each other, and then understanding that there's going to be hardship, especially if it's a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
And that there are ways to navigate that, and not and basically it's like the opposite of saying that's just the way I've always been.
Yeah.
Diba? Because that's kind of like a defeated way of looking at yourself too.
Yeah.
So that's just a couple. But the thing is, there's a catch to the non-negotiables also. Because you can list down as many qualities as you want as a non-negotiable. But how ready, how mature, how stable or secure or healthy do you feel when you finally see that in front of you in a partner? Because sometimes it's like you want this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
But are you actually also capable of receiving it in such a way na, okay, is it something that you can actually handle? Like with the growth or with the work that you've done within yourself. It's good to have a list, but when that list manifests into a person, it's kind of just saying, I hope you're ready for it.
Yeah.
And I hope you can spot it. Because sometimes, like, a healthy partner doesn't even seem like, it might seem boring. Like, because they don't have really any issues that they're carrying into the relationship. Like, they've dealt with it already. So if they're not raising any red flags or like not having any conflict with you, I feel like you might see it as a red flag because you're so used to the chaos.
Yep.
Diba?
Alam mo, I share this when I'm invited to give a talk to singles or relationship talks. I would give them an exercise and ask the participants, like, can you take a step back from yourself and like ask yourself this question: would you marry you?
Right.
So if you're not, and you see that you wouldn't marry you, and you want the best from the other person, like that's unfair.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to be the best you for the right one. Like you want to be the best version of yourself for your future partner or your spouse, your one true love.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes we're so engrossed in finding that Prince Charming, that love story, that
Mhm.
Disney love story, that
Yeah.
we forget that we're all broken people and we're not perfect. There's
Mhm.
something to improve. Like I said, growth mindset. There's something to grow into.
Yeah.
That before or as we look for the right person, maybe we should find a way to be the right person for that person.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's up to you to discern that in like
Yeah.
if they are meeting those non-negotiables that you do have. But emphasis also on doing work on yourself as well. I don't mean physical work like magpaparetoke ka. No. I mean really diving into yourself, like, how you were in past relationships.
Yeah.
What patterns you had in your past relationships that did not serve the relationship at
Yeah.
all.
Yep.
And then seeing how you can like grow into the kind of person, like what JPaul said, that you would want to marry. Because I feel like in listing down those non-negotiables, you should also reflect those non-negotiables at you. Like,
Yeah.
are you able to have a growth mindset? Are you able to be more curious about your partner?
I guess it really depends on the person. And you have to I know a friend na medyo binatukan namin after the heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi she had this non-negotiable list, and then because there's a guy, binubura niya. She would erase and change to suit the guy that was
Oh my gosh.
kind of dangerous.
Yes.
And heartbreak. And I guess the best, I mean, we could go on non-negotiables, but for me, as a simple guy, maybe connect your values.
Yes, true.
So for example, just a very basic example. Maybe you come from maybe your dad died from lung cancer because of smoking. Just an example. Maybe you can
Yeah.
have a non-negotiable that the guy's not smoking because that's
Also
your value.
true.
Diba?
Yeah.
Parang, connect your values, connect it to your history, connect it to something that's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
Not just to be selfish or look for a trophy wife or a trophy guy,
Yeah.
but to be, what is it? What really matters to you? I think that's the question. Like, what really matters to you? What kind of life do you want? What kind of future do you want? And then from there, maybe, design that non-negotiable list.
Yeah. And I totally agree with that. You can definitely go simpler in your non-negotiables too.
Yeah.
If like, especially, it's a good place to start with your goals. And so if you have a hard time, you don't have to think too hard on it, but just focus on like what's important to you, like what JPaul said. So at least you can have one or two at least on those lists, or maybe three or a little bit more. So it's with this question, if your standards are too high, I think there's a lot of other things at play here.
Yeah.
No, when it comes to finding a romantic partner. Because sometimes your standards aren't even that high.
Yeah.
And but people have convinced you that they are. Diba?
You got it. Yeah.
They will mistake you as too much because they don't know what the bare minimum is either.
Yeah.
So, or like some people will get triggered of just like asking, when you ask them to do something and be like, why would you want me to do that? Like,
Yeah.
why would I do that for you?
Yeah.
Diba? It's a little heartbreaking, right? Because most of the time, how they react has nothing really to do with you and
Yeah.
your request, but more so on their like ability to be able to accommodate it.
Yeah.
Diba? You can start, shifting your mindset when it comes to relationships, what you're looking for in a relationship, what your non-negotiables are. That way you can date much better. You can narrow down whoever it is that you're looking for as well. You won't just entertain anybody. The intent is there so that you are in pursuit of a long-term partnership, you learn about yourself when you are dating. By the way, and I think that's something that you can at least hold on to when when dating gets a little hard or gets a little scarce. Get clear on what it is that you want, and then from there flip the script as well, because we have that mentality of like, do they like me? Do they like my jokes? Do they like the way that I dress or something? Flip that script and ask instead, do you like them? Do you like the way that they dress, I guess? I mean, I don't know. It's just something, because you're putting so much weight on what they like about you, when this is your life that you're living. This is your story that you're trying to write. This is your relationship that you're trying to find.
And it's also gonna be fair to that other person.
Yeah, for sure. I hope this has been helpful in validating that, yes, finding a romantic partner is hard, but as long as you do some inner work and then really zoning in on what you want in a relationship, the standards, the non-negotiables, and what you can offer, then maybe it won't be a hard time in finding a romantic partner. Rather, you're actually having the time of your life.
What a connect.
There we go. And that is the end.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.